Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me today is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Good.
Happy Monday.
Oh, oh.
So today we are talking about the Crowned Heads Buckeye Land. This is a Toro, I guess, 6x48. Comes out of the La Gran Fabrica Dual State Factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Mexican San Andreas. Binder is Connecticut Broadleaf. Filters Nicaragua and Pennsylvania Broadleaf. And it's blended by Willie Herrera. Price point is $9.60, and the cigar was released in October of 2018. So with all that out of the way, June, what was your smoking experience like?
It was pretty good. So, within terms of like the flavors that I picked up, it's just a lot of chocolate, black pepper. I also got some cedar, like a soil, dirt, kind of a earthy component to it. So it's very like reminiscent of like what you typically get out of like a well-made Mexican San Andreas wrapper. Retrohaling the cigar, a lot of black pepper. Surprisingly, a lot of black pepper for me. There's always within that big dose of black pepper. I also got a pretty good like a natural creaminess, like nuttiness to it, which help with that kind of nose stinging black pepper. Finished medium length. Finished medium length with the like cedar, that same like soil dirt thing going on. Strength medium full, and body medium. And as I kind of progressed through the cigar, I kind of felt like it had pretty similar characteristics to it, except that the second third is probably my favorite. I felt like it was the best part of it. I thought the flavor shined a bit more. It was a lot more deeper in the notes. And the only other change within the last third really is uh, the cigar got super strong for me. It was pretty much full throttle, like full strength cigar at the end of this cigar. So, I could have done without that, but nonetheless, I overall enjoy the flavor profile. In terms of construction, perfect draw, near perfect burn. The only issue of burn is a couple of touch ups that I had to do, but there's really no issues with it. What about you?
Yeah, for me, it started with cedar, and I had a pretty full baking spice, a little bit of mustiness to it. A little further in that, cedar transitions to oak, and the baking spice mellowed out like a little bit. Um, an inch in, I get a fair amount of creaminess that joined the profile, kind of ease that baking spice out a little bit more. I could barely retrohale the cigar as it really had an intense baking spice note to it, and there's kind of fairly significant zing. About an inch and a half in, baking spice became very faint in the background. Oak up front, cream and mustiness like slightly behind it. Retrail was still baking spice forward, but it was tame enough that I could do it more frequently, and I can get a little bit of oak and mustiness that was behind there. And the strength in that first third was right at medium. Second third profile became fairly light, kind of creamy oak and mustiness. A little bit of the baking spice had actually left the profile. Further in, oak gained a little bit of a toasted note to it, a little bit of cream and mustiness there. Retrohale still carried a baking spice, musty oak right behind it. And as that third was wrapping up, the toasted note had transitioned to char. Cream dropped out, but the mustiness was still there. And the retrohale had the same profile. Strength was still at medium. And then in the final third, char was very faint, going along with the oak and the mustiness. A little further in, the char increased again a little bit. Further in, then a little bit of cream returns, kind of knocks down the char some. Retrohale still carries that creamy and charred oak along with some mustiness. And then as the cigar is kind of wrapping up, starts to warm up, brings a little bit of mintiness to the profile, and strength remained at medium. So that way the whole way. In regards to the burn, slightly wavy throughout. Did require a big touch up in the second third when the burn got kind of too far off to correct itself. And then the final third of the cigar went out, required a relight. And then there was another point where I needed to do like some frequent draws to kind of keep it burning. But ash did hold on 1 inch increments. And then in regards to the draw, a little tighter than I prefer, but didn't really cause any issues with the smoking experience at all. So overall, what were your thoughts on this one?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think talked well actually uh, over the weekend I talked about what we all met for cigar of the year.
Yeah.
How I really enjoyed Mexican San Andreas rappers this year. And this is definitely falls in that category. I feel like with this particular one, it was more like straightforward flavor. So it's not like, not in terms of like, not a lot of complexity or depth to it, but the flavors themselves are pretty like easygoing and not easygoing per se, like more easily identifiable. So I really dug it. It was really strong. So if you like, if you're sensitive to nicotine, like I am, be careful about that. But it was good. I think this is definitely something that I will smoke again, and have no problems with recommending it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the flavor profile at began. I mean, cedar moving to oak, some cream, mustiness, baking spice. The profile became a little bit lighter as the cigar went along, which I thought was interesting because you got Mexican San Andres, you have two types of broadleaf. I just thought that the profile would have been much heavier for me, and it just didn't seem to like those components, like individually, you think put together would just be a really heavy bomb, but it just wasn't like that for me. You know, construction was a little bit of an issue for me, primarily the burn issues. This is my first experience smoking one of the regionals from Crowned Heads. I'm not sure I'd really go back to this one. I'd be open to smoking the others, but there wasn't really anything here that made me want to come back to it. I mean, if you're a Crowned Heads fan, you're gonna want to smoke it. So, they'll check it out. I don't think any problem. So getting into scores, Jiunn, you gave it a 707. I gave it a 5.65. How do you think that match up with your experience?
It matched up well. I mean, I that means I enjoyed it. I thought the flavor profile was consistently good. Overall, good construction. Cigars like this is a year in, I look at it and I know it's going to be one of those where I have to kind of like decipher if I really think it's worthwhile to put in.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what I'll parlay that to is that it's a good cigar and I really liked it.
Yep. Yeah, I thought the flavor profile was just kind of above average and it had some burn issues that kind of knocked it down a little bit. So overall, it was average. So that's where it kind of fell. It was, slightly above average in regards to flavor, and decent construction. So that's where it kind of gets into the kind of mid fives for me. So, any other final thoughts for you on this one?
No.
All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. But also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.